Hi, this is Nancy LT Hamilton again with the tip of the day, and today we're going to talk about solder, how to identify it, and what it does. The first thing that you should do, and you should know, is that solder has a style of marking it. I don't know how else to say that. When you get your solder, these tags tend to fall off, especially if you're using wire solder. These things can slide right off, and then you have no idea what kind of solder it is. It's really important to know the difference between, let's say, a hard solder and easy solder. They melt at completely different temperatures, and you can wreck your piece if you don't use the right one. So what I do when I get my solder, the first thing I do is mark it so I can identify it. I have a little chart here which will be up on my website. Unfortunately, I have never seen a bending style for IT solder and extra easy solder, so I've come up with my own variation on that I'll show you. And you can come up with whatever you want. Most people use the hard, medium, and easy solder. So the hard solder, you take a pair of pliers and just bend one of the ends into a square like this. And then fortunately I did this because this was laying there, had no tag on it. How would I have known? So by doing this, I knew that it was hard solder. Then we have our medium solder, which is a almost full box, like that. So that's medium. It doesn't have to be perfect, as long as you can tell that that's not fully boxed like the hard solder is. And then we have easy solder, which is just one bend like that. So now this solder is now marked, and no matter what happens to the tags, I'll always know what kind of solder it is. Now extra easy, like this one, I've come up with this little wonky thing that I just twisted around a couple loops, and for me that means it's easy solder. I make a little swirl kind of shape. For the IT, I actually haven't come up with one for that. I leave it in a bag. I only use it when I enamel, and I enamel never, hardly ever. So make up your own design. It could be a knot, it could be double-ended twist. I don't know. You could even do like a loop like this. That might be actually a good one to do for IT. It doesn't matter as long as you know what they are. I keep a chart taped to my studio soldering area wall, which tells the flow point of all the different solders. And next to it, I have another chart that shows the melting and flow temperatures of all the metals that I work with. It's a good way for students to get used to it, for you to get used to it, and you have to be careful because you don't want to get your metal too hot and have your solder ruin a piece. So keep track of what you're doing with your solder, and you'll be a happier, safer, more efficient jeweler. Thanks for stopping by. This is Nancy LT Hamilton.